Most scaling strategies for elite coaches focus on forcing growth, bigger teams, more complexity, constant hustle. But today's story starts in an unlikely place, a hospital bed in December 2023, where I was forced to discover a completely different approach with my online business. What happened next didn't just challenge everything I believed about scaling a coaching business, it revealed a fundamental truth that most successful coaches miss. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. And most success stories in the coaching industry will probably start with a win. But this one starts with a wake up call. And it was in that hospital bed in Connecticut almost 2 years ago. But before I share that story, let me show you exactly how I went from surgery to $20,000 months without sales calls. So let me ask you something. Are you feeling it too? This nagging sense that despite your revenue, something's off? That even if you're at 30, 50, or even 100K months, you're working harder than ever, but your profit margins are shrinking. You're not alone. But what I'm about to share isn't just another coaching strategy, it's a complete paradigm shift that emerged from my own breaking point. So let me take you back. From the outside, everything looked perfect. I was in college basketball, living a life what many would consider the dream. The status, the recognition, all the external markers of success were there. But here's what nobody saw: the debilitating migraines, the physical exhaustion, the growing feeling that I was trapped in a system that was slowly draining my life force. And like many of you, I know there had to be a better way. So this is what I did. I started an Instagram page back on September 14th, 2019. Yes, I still remember the exact date because that day was the day that I went all in on betting on myself, and I stopped waiting for the someone to so-called save me. And I do want to note that my initial intention wasn't to start a business. It was just a simple escape route by leading with something I was passionate about. And as many of you as you could probably relate, the money and opportunities always follow like a rushing river. So I focused on connecting with readers and ambitious professionals. I built up this audience to over 100,000 followers, and I started helping nonfiction authors build their brands and market their books. And business was good, but I was still playing by the old rules, hustling, grinding, and following the traditional playbook. Then 2023 came around and it hit me like a sack of bricks with the ultimate wake-up call. I needed spinal cord surgery to remove a tumor at the age of 27 years old. And this wasn't just any surgery that kind of makes you question everything. It was one that I was facing a potential life-changing procedure, and I had to figure out how I was going to keep my business running and keep the lights on while I was recovering. And that's when something remarkable happened. With my back against the wall, literally, I stripped everything down to the simplest form. No complex funnels, no exhausting sales calls, simply a Google Doc and a clear offer. And you know what happened next? It was nothing short of a miracle. In the 2 weeks I worked in that December before my surgery, I made over $20,000 in my business. And I didn't take a single sales call. It was all through simple direct message conversations. And then what was crazy next is I did it again in January 2024 while I was recovering from my surgery. So this wasn't just about making money anymore. It was about discovering a fundamental, better way, a way that didn't require me sacrificing my health, my time, and my sanity. So let me show you what's really happening in the coaching industry right now. Take a look at your own business. You may be hitting those coveted 10K months, right? That everyone wants to market about. But here's the uncomfortable truth in 2025's economy that's barely keeping the lights on: 10K. So let me break this down. Cost of living has increased by 40% in just the past few years. Ad costs on Meta or elsewhere have skyrocketed. Team expenses are higher than ever. And let's be honest, 10K monthly revenue only really means 2 to 3K in actual profit. So this is why coaches making even 30 to 100K monthly are still stressed, still hustling, still feeling trapped. They're swimming upstream, fighting against the current with building bigger teams, yet keeping less profit, creating more complex systems, yet feeling less in control, working longer hours, yet they're seeing diminishing returns, on endless sales calls, and relying on constant organic content creation. They're trying to force their way to the next level and not realizing that force is actually what's holding them back. But what if the secret to scaling isn't just about pushing harder? What if it's like a river? It's about removing the obstacles that's blocking your natural flow. Well, this is what I thought about on the surgery table. And this is what I thought about in the hospital bed. What if there was a better way? What if instead of swimming upstream, you could let your business flow naturally downstream? This was the aha moment where I could barely move in the hospital bed around my family. How was I going to earn my next dollar when I couldn't move? And I thought about this river. So let's do this together. Water doesn't force its way through obstacles. It finds the path of least resistance. It flows naturally. So coaches who are truly succeeding right now aren't actually pushing harder. They're removing the rocks that block their natural flow. Let me show you what happens when you do this. A mindset coach who worked with me was struggling for 5 years, never breaking 10K months, and was honestly on the brink of quitting, is now hitting consistent 20K months with better boundaries than ever. A visual design consultant added $70,000 with a single streamlined solution. An empowerment leadership coach who added $13,500, all by simply going all in on one platform that suited her best and proving that she did not have to be everywhere and be everything to everyone. A core values coach who generated $100,000 in 7 months while maintaining 95% margins, and an organizational leadership consultant who added $57,500 in new business by completely reframing his approach to delivery. So before I show you exactly how this works, let's identify which rocks are blocking your flow right now. Answer these questions honestly. Are you spending more than 2 hours a day on sales calls? Is your monthly revenue unpredictable? Do you rely heavily on manual outreach? Are your profit margins shrinking as you scale? Does growing your business mean working more hours? If you've answered yes to any of these, you're likely fighting the current instead of letting it flow with you. And you should probably make that change this year or else it's going to be too late. So this is the river method, and it works because it addresses the 3 biggest scaling myths holding elite coaches back. The first one is the complexity myth, believing that bigger revenue means bigger systems. The second is the force myth, thinking that growth requires more push and more hustle. And the third myth is the time myth, accepting that success means sacrificing personal freedom. It debunks these myths by removing the 3 major blockages I am sure you're facing right now in your business, because I did and many of my clients have as well. The first is the lead flow block. So we implement our client magnet machine, which transforms how high-ticket clients find you and, most importantly, choose you. This replaces complex funnels with natural flow. It converts through conversation, not having to get on sales calls. And it attracts premium clients without constant content creation and playing that lame organic game as I did for many years with my brand. The second is the revenue block, and this is where we implement what I call the fusion offer. It restructures how you deliver and present your premium value. It will create predictable recurring revenue right off the bat. It increases profit margins by reducing your delivery time. It will allow you to scale impact without having to scale with complex systems. It allows you to present your offer to close clients without having to take a sales call, and it's versatile enough to send via text. The third is the conversion block, and this is where magnetic content comes into play. It ensures sustainable, profitable growth by pre-qualifying your prospects, turning viewers into buyers without sales calls, creating content that converts on autopilot, and builds authority that attracts premium clients. Now you might be wondering, all right, Owen, this all sounds great, but how do I actually implement this? Let me show you exactly how we do this through my Magnetic Mentor program. Phase 1 is foundation. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks. We want to get clear on your why and your freedom number. Then we want to structure your fusion offer so you can start selling organically right away. And then we set up automated systems to begin freeing up your time. Phase 2 is the bulk of it, and this is what I call the flow stage. This is from weeks 3 and beyond. You implement your client magnetic machine. You launch your autopilot attraction system and you optimize your conversion process. And phase 3 is growth. And this is where we scale with intention, refine systems, and expand your impact without taking out your personal freedom. So remember that mindset coach I mentioned, the one who struggled and was stuck below 10K for nearly 4 years? He didn't just double his income with us. He found the clarity and fulfillment that drew him to coaching in the first place. That's what happens when you stop fighting the current and you start flowing with it. The river method isn't just another scaling system or strategy. It's a complete paradigm shift that proves you don't need complex systems to scale. You don't need to give up your precious hard-earned profit to scale either. You don't need a big team to grow. You don't need to sacrifice your life for success. So if you're ready to remove these blocks so you can stop blocking your flow and discover how you can add at a minimum beginning $20K a month monthly profit while working less, then here's what to do next. DM me the word flow on Instagram right now, and I will show you exactly how to implement the river method into your specific business. And please don't wait, because just like a river, opportunities flow by, and I strictly limit how many elite coaches I work with at a given moment to ensure everyone gets the support that they need to create their ideal flow. So right now, I only have a handful of spots available before doors close for the unforeseeable future. And this is also for coaches who have already established and know who they serve. They have at least 1 to 2 killer case studies and are bringing in at least $10,000 to $15,000 a month in revenue in their coaching business. If that's you and you're ready to transform your business through the river method, then DM me here on Instagram, the word flow, and it will secure your spot, and let's remove those rocks together.